How we doing?
Good.
All right, great. Okay. I know my class today, everybody was kind of like out of energy, so we do the best we can. So thanks so much for coming tonight. We have one of our favorite info sessions of the semester when we have our amazing liaison from the Career Center that comes in and gets us all prepped for the career fair. So I'll introduce him in a second. I just want to do some quick, just like housekeeping stuff on some dates because we got a couple things approved this week. So February 22nd, which is a couple Saturdays from now, is when we have our MISA barbecue. So this is the first time that we've done the MISA barbecue like early and not like mid-semester. And the reason for that was because everybody starts to get crazy like after spring break, and not like crazy in a good way. They get crazy because you got all your projects and assignments and everything else to do. So we're gonna try it this semester like a month earlier. So that'll be on the 22nd. And then the following Friday, the 28th, we just confirmed today the company tour with SBA Communications. So that tour is just for premium members. So if you're a premium member already, great. We'll be sending out some emails this week about signing up and everything. If you're not a premium member and you want to come, you still have plenty of time to become a premium member. So just let myself or any of the officers know if you're interested. But those are some of the exciting things coming up on the docket, and it's for this month, so there's like a lot of things happening. So just wanted to let you know so you can keep that in mind. Is there anything else I'm missing? Good?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so without further ado, I don't want to steal the good man's time. Can we give a nice warm MISA round of applause for our favorite guy, Bryon Knight from the Career Center.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Well, pretty good? All right. So today I really want to go over with you all some items you want to make sure that you keep in mind when preparing for the upcoming Career Expo. Is everyone in here planning on going? Yeah. Yes. Hands, you don't sound excited. Okay. Let me ask this as well. Has anyone in here never been to the Career Expo or a career fair at all? Okay, so we might learn something here today. Throughout this entire presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands, and I'll do my best to assist you. Really want to talk about preparing for the fair, but also some of those next steps after the fair. And I know for you all going to the fair, you're definitely going to secure some of those interviews. So we'll briefly talk about preparing for interviews and what that process may be like as well. All right. So as Dr. Sweet said, my name is Bryon Knight. I am the liaison to the College of Business from the FAU Career Center. And so I can assist you in any of your career preparation needs, whether that be finding jobs and internships, preparing documents, resumes, cover letters. If you're thinking about switching majors or figuring out what all you can do with your particular major, I'm your guy, so come and see me. Is everyone familiar where the Career Center is located? Anyone not? Okay, so perfect, thank you. Thank you for your participation. So the Career Center is in the same building, the Student Support Services building, same building that you would find financial aid, parking and transportation, what other offices are there? Registrar's office, all of that good jazz. It's the building adjacent to the student union. Big building, you can't miss it. So if you come up the second floor, via the stairs of the elevator, where this big glass office on your left-hand side, I won't miss this. All right. So today, as I mentioned, some of the few things we'll briefly touch on are first impressions, elevator pitches or elevator speeches, prepare for the expo itself, as well as interviewing skills. All right. So with that being said, why might you attend the Career Expo or any career fair for that matter? Yes.
To get a job or internship.
To get a job or internship, yes. Anyone else?
To network.
To network.
Gain experience.
Gaining experience.
To get practice speaking to people that you never spoke to.
Perfect. Anyone else? Might you also get a chance to talk to some professionals and gain industry knowledge, so figuring out what the trends are in your particular area of interest. So all are right on the money. And then understanding that employers are here to meet you. Employers pay a lot of money to attend the career fair. So I know naturally you may be nervous, especially if you've never attended one of these fairs, but it's a great opportunity to network. And as long as you're able to prepare the proper way, which we'll talk about here in a second, attending the fair and speaking with employers will be a breeze for you. All right? But literally everything we said in terms of about figuring out hiring needs as well as networking and making some of those future connections. Important to note, even if you aren't actively searching for a job or opportunity currently, the career fair is a great place for you to start to begin to build that professional network. So maybe next semester, the same company may be at a fair and it may be another great opportunity for you to nail down an internship or job in the future. All right? So first impressions. What would you all say going to first impression? Said
Dressing nice.
dressing nicely, professional attire, yes. Anyone else?
Good handshake.
Perfect. Great handshake.
Being polite.
Being polite, courteous.
Smart.
Eye contact.
Eye contact, yes.
Have like, try to have like a genuine interest in what they're trying to say and what they're trying to convey to you about their company.
Okay, absolutely. Anyone else? Okay, well, pretty much you didn't extend on it. Great smile, handshake, eye contact, elevator pitch as well, clear communication, knowledge of what type of opportunities they are providing. So what we'll briefly talk about is ways that you can research some of these companies prior to the fair. That way you're having a meaningful conversation. It's one thing to just show up and shove a resume in a recruiter's hand, but it's another thing to have an idea of what they're hiring for, and a little bit of background information about the company. That way you're having a meaningful conversation, and moving forward, you're somebody that the representative or the company may be able to remember based off that conversation alone. All right? So elevator pitch. How many of you in here have never heard of an elevator pitch or are unsure what it is? So a few of you. Anyone in here very certain of that? No, you can put your hand up. Anyone else? Okay. Well, we're going to do a little activity which will kind of assist you in developing your elevator pitch. So, I will pass these around, or I will give these to you all to pass around, and this will kind of assist you in constructing your elevator pitch. Take one down, pass one around. And so I'll give you all about 5 to 8 minutes. Does everyone in here have something to write with at least?
Pens if needed.
There are some up here.
Should be in that box right there. Yeah, check the box right there. It should be pens.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you. Anyone over here need pen? So an elevator pitch is ultimately an introduction to you. This is pretty much as you are approaching an employer, the opening speech that you want to be able to give. It's a way to sell yourself within the first 15 to 30 seconds, if you will, of speaking to an employer. And really it's about giving an understanding of yourself and who you are, as well as some of the skills that you bring to the table, and also why you might be there to speak with them during this event or that occasion. It's called the elevator pitch. Because you never know when you may meet a professional. That could be at a fair, that could be, in an elevator itself, wherever you may meet professionals. But being able to really sell yourself and convey what type of opportunity you are looking for. And keep in mind as you're working through these, in terms of practicing your own, you don't have to list literally every section here. Some of the sections after pretty much your background in terms of your work experience are just different sections that kind of give you things that you can also consider to describe as well. But keep in mind the most important part is being able to describe obviously yourself, where you're from, your possible major, and then thinking about some of the relevant experience that you have that may translate to that particular company. Also, if there's certain technical skills you have or that you developed in classes, being able to describe those things as well.
What if you have no relevant job experience to the company?
So maybe, are you looking for internships or are you looking for a job?
Internships.
So if you're looking for an internship, that could be a way, in terms of your description as you're describing, to the employer saying, you know, I don't necessarily have work experience in the field at this point. However, a student who's dedicated, eager to learn, I do have some experience maybe learning, or I have experience with certain technical skills maybe that may be utilized in that job. And from there, typically internships aren't expecting you to come in with the wealth of knowledge. It's more so about teaching you how they want things done. But if you give an understanding that you know how to grasp concepts, as a student alone, that should be able to suffice for your education. Great question.
But what if you're trying to find a job?
And you have no experience?
You're screwed.
Is there like a way to connect?
No, I wouldn't say that. Do you have any technical skills or things that you think may apply to any job at this point?
I'm learning in classes, yeah, and doing things on my own, but not actually like a professional job.
So you haven't had any work experience, period? Like not even necessarily related to?
No, I have work experience like I work in now.
So
but I mean,
yeah.
like related to like the tech field, the tech field that I'm looking to get into.
Yeah, so in that case, you may not be able to describe those experiences, but if you do have some technical skills, mention that. But also keep in mind, any and every opportunity or experience that you have has transferable skills. In your job, do you work with people?
Yeah.
You probably will work with people in any job there. Are you working in a role that kind of services other people?
Yeah, I do.
You clearly have a ability to learn things fast and then be able to teach that to people. So it's really being able to sell those skills. Yes.
Okay, so like, how do you say you somewhat have a skill without making it seem like you're proficient in it? Because like, I've taken jobs, I wouldn't be able to.
You can mention that you're familiar with it. Not proficient yet, but you are familiar with that, you know, with Java, and that is something that you're constantly working on if that is indeed true. All right, do I have anyone that would care to share their elevator pitch? And don't volunteer all at once. Where's Alan? No, but anybody care to share at all? Okay, thank you. Alright.
Alright.
So let me ask you this as well. Do you have an employer that you possibly might be looking to be hired by in the near future?
At the moment, not really. Probably trying to get an internship at Office Depot.
Okay, let me be honest.
Okay.
Alright. So I'm at the fair, got my papers and all of this good jazz at my table. How about you? You approach.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Good. My name's TJ.
Okay, Byron from Office Depot. I am a hiring manager. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And I'm gonna bet this.
It's okay. We're practicing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking for an internship. I'm currently working in tech support here at Florida Land at FAU. And I am very interested in working in the tech field around Office Depot. I know you guys offer some internship programs. And some of my good strengths is I'm very good with customer service. I'm good at documenting and doing research on problems. And I also have a passion for learning how to program, how to develop websites, as well as social media marketing, passionate in all those fields, really. I am going to be graduating in the summer, and I also recently just got accepted into my accelerated master's program.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I will be starting that soon, and I will hopefully be concentrating in cybersecurity. So I'm also quite interested in learning, getting involved in that field.
We actually have an internship in cybersecurity for summer 2020. I hope possibly you might be interested. So here's what you may need in terms of some of the documents and requirements for this. So I look forward to you applying, and here's my business card as well. I hope to hear from you shortly.
Thank you very much.
All right. So great job. Does anybody have any tidbits or any thoughts about his elevator pitch? You did a great job. I would obviously rearrange some things just in terms of the description, but nonetheless, you covered all of the information in terms of your major, in terms of your interests, and you seem to know a little bit about the company. Obviously, if you're at the fair, we can talk about ways you can find out more about some of the roles they're hiring for and ways to research. But ultimately, we covered everything that needed to be covered within that pitch.
I thought it sounded organic and it didn't sound like robotic. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
it didn't sound like super rehearsed, like you're just regurgitating information. So
Absolutely.
Good job.
Definitely natural. Good job. All right. Anybody else care to share? You look like you want to share. It's all good. We will move on to the next step for the sake of time. But thank you for sharing. All right. So quick tip reminders. As you're coming to the fair, make sure you are professionally dressed. If you are not professionally dressed at the Career Expo, we will unfortunately have to turn you around or provide you to utilize our professional clothes closet, which items we will bring to the fair. Yes.
What's the dress, is it,
Business professional.
like a suit or?
Yes. If you don't have a suit per se, at least a shirt and tie, we will not let you in with jeans, so you can get away with khakis. But at least a shirt and tie, khakis, and we could possibly let you in with a collared shirt, but you probably need a blazer on top of that. But we do have clothes, like I said, that we bring to the fair. If you don't have those items or you're unprepared that day, so that shouldn't be an issue. Anybody else? All right. So I would say bring also a pad folio. Make sure you bring multiple copies of your resume. You probably want to bring anywhere from 10 to 15 copies because you never know how many you will end up passing out, but you want to be more than ready. Make sure that you have your cell phone silenced, and if you have to bring items with you, know that the that campus rate does have lockers where you can place some of those items in as you attend the fair. All right. Before the fair, make sure that you've had your resume critiqued and completed. So you can always come to the Career Center during our same day hours from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, or you can also schedule an appointment to meet with myself or anyone else from the Career Center. But please, please, please make sure that you've had another pair of eyes to look at the resume prior to going to the fair. Want to make sure you put your best professional foot forward. Also, before the fair, make sure you understand what type of position you are interested in and what some of these companies may be hiring for. Places that you can do some of this research about companies would be Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Hoover's, and most importantly for this particular fair, Handshake. How many people on here have looked at some of the employers who are coming to the fair already? So a few. For those of you who have not, let's take a look really quick. All right, so we're here on Lovely Christian's profile, and so to get to this portion, so everybody here, has anyone in here not been on Handshake? All right, perfect, wonderful group, that's why I love you. But if you go to, once you log on, if you go to the events tab, and you go to find career fairs, you will see a list of all of the fairs that we have going on for the remainder of this semester. All right. So obviously we're looking here at the Career Expo. What you will find is the date and time here at the top. You can always join the event, which will be registering. That way you receive periodic emails to remind you to go to the event itself. All right, you'll see a fair description. So for any of the fairs, you have an understanding of what type of attire is required, as well as just some tidbits of things you may want to remember as you prepare for attending the fair. So here, most importantly, we can view the employers. All right. So you can filter on this section. However, sometimes if an employer hasn't necessarily selected those preferences, you may not see their name. But you can see a list of all of the companies that will be there in attendance. So perfect for, as you're preparing for the fair, really taking the time to understand who all you want to speak with. And then to see if they possibly have any openings that are posted on Handshake. Not all the time will the companies have all of their roles posted on Handshake. Some of those you will have to apply to their external website, but they will let you know that at the fair.
What would you say to someone or a company that has a like GPA requirement, but like let's say you don't meet that requirement, but they still want to apply to them? What would you say to that student?
Perfect question. My personal opinion would be to create and submit a cover letter. And I would say that because a cover letter, in a lot of cases, can suffice for you being able to give an explanation of why your GPA might not be that high. Maybe you're involved in multiple things, and that's a way for you to really indicate, in a longer version of one, why you're, what issues, you may be on your mind that you don't think your resume suffices, as well as really showing your strong interest in that company and why you want that position. But great question. Anyone else? All right. So you will be able to see all of the companies on here, but you can find out a little bit more here about them. You can go to their company website. You can see some reviews from other students who have possibly worked there in the past. And then, as I mentioned, you can see some of the roles that they may have had posted here on Handshake as well. All right, so do I have any questions about seeing any of the fairs or any of the employers who will be in attendance? Yes.
It's not about that, but it's just a random question that popped in my head. If you fail to write, say you worked at a place but you didn't put it on your resume, is that wrong or bad or illegal?
If there's a place that you work and you don't include it on your resume?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No. So when you're constructing a resume, and we can talk about this later if you like as well, when you're constructing a resume, you want to include the experiences that you find most relevant, or that you think showcase all of the various skills that you have. So you don't have to list, especially at this point in your career, you don't have to list everything you've done. What you'll notice as you read job descriptions is 2+ years experience, no experience required, or experience in such said, software as assistance. So for most cases, unless you're finding positions where they want to see this long list of work experience, you don't have to worry about that. Just think about the roles that you find most relevant to what you're applying to, and then be able to condense that into one page. So I would suggest one full page for your resume. If you find yourself going over, ensure that that information is definitely relevant to the position. Yes?
Under usually requirements, it'll say a bachelor's degree and 2 years of experience. Now coming right out of college, and a couple people were saying they don't really have that experience. So what would you say to the student trying to apply to that job? And if any employers have talked to you guys at the Career Center talking about what that 2 years of experience really entails as a whole?
So I would say the worst thing someone can tell you is no. So I wouldn't say let that deter you from applying if it's a place you really want to work. But that experience, sometimes people get caught up on it having to be work experience. It can be internship experience. You can volunteer somewhere. You can do an externship and gain experience. You can even go to conferences just revolving around said subject. So I would say still apply, and then that way the company knows you're interested. So even if you don't go into that role, you're gaining experience in whatever other role, but then that company knows that you've been applying previously before them. Any other questions? All right. So, as I mentioned, you can see all of the attendees for the fair here. So make sure you do that just prior to attending the fair. All right, so at the fair, what are some things you might do? Anyone? For the people who've attended.
Take down notes.
Take down notes. What might you take notes of?
You might take notes of maybe what they're asking, sometimes what they're asking for, or maybe some feedback they might give you in regards to the company.
Perfect. Right on. Yes.
Names.
Names? Yes, absolutely.
Business cards.
Business cards? Anyone else?
I don't know if you touched on this for a second, but maybe a specific thing that you spoke about with that recruiter, and you can bring it up when you send them a follow-up email or something like that.
Perfect. Yep, absolutely. Kind of going right along in with notes as well. So I would say definitely make sure you take notes. Get business cards. Does everyone here have a LinkedIn account? All right. Make sure if you don't, The reason you may wanna have, you definitely wanna stay connected with some of these professionals you meet. Unless you keep a Rolodex of business cards that you're referring to, this is gonna be the best way, especially in this century, to keep up with other people, and so forth. So, also when you're taking notes, as you get ready, as you finish these fairs, you wanna be able to send thank you letters, via email to the employers and representatives that you've spoken with. If you have notes that are detail oriented, that are, recalling from that conversation, that makes you more memorable in the representative or employer you spoke with eyes. So one thing is just send a regular thank you letter, which most people probably will send, but if you can send a thank you letter with some of those specific details of your conversation, I find that highly important in showing that you're engaged and really want to work for that particular company. All right. So, and also to that point, make sure you visit a practice table. If you've never been, or you're just nervous about attending and you want to get a better feel for the event, go to a practice table. You can already see who you probably want to speak with at the fair. So if you do, as soon as you walk in, you just see a table and you want to go ahead and showcase that elevator pitch and speak with an employer, by all means, go ahead and get some of those kinks out.
So I don't know if it was already said, but what I did last time I went is a company that I was interested in. I researched them, and then I sent them an email before I went to the fair, like, hey, my name is so-and-so, John Doe, I'm coming to see you, so-and-so, like, here's my resume attached already, and then I spoke with them, and then they were all excited, like, oh, we like the initiative that you sent me an email beforehand, thank you for coming to see me.
Perfect. That's highly proactive, I like that. And you see that the company definitely appreciated that. So that's a great tidbit for you all. You do, because you actually can see some of the contact information on some of the employers. You have a strong interest in that company, like you said, you can go ahead and email them prior to the fair. Yes?
What I did was, when I was at UCF, we did, I would talk to the small employers first, and then you kind of work your way up to the bigger ones. Now we just gain confidence, or it's like the bigger companies, you're gonna talk to, you start off small, and then just work your way to gain that confidence. Once you're ready to talk to the bigger companies, already have it's already built up, then it's gonna be a little bit more smooth.
Absolutely. Yep, that's another tidbit I would suggest you all to take. Really being able to understand this is exactly how you want this conversation to go, and getting some of that nervousness out early and as often as you can. So after the fair, what might you do? Kind of briefly talk about it. Anybody? Follow up email. Alright, hopefully you might apply for the job too. Connect with some of those contacts on LinkedIn.
No, I'm just talking about
And so forth. Alright, so remember, if you haven't, which all you have, register on Handshake. Scheduled to attend the career fair. It is from 11 to 3 on February 13th, and that will be in Campus Recreation. Alright, make an appointment at the Career Center if you need some assistance with that resume, that cover letter. You want to make sure it's right for the employers you are seeking to attract at the career fair. Make sure you've researched some of these companies which we talked about prior to the fair. Practice those elevator pitches just to make sure it is on par and up to point. So as you're attending the fair, you feel comfortable engaging and speaking with all of the employers. Make sure that you are professionally dressed. As I'll mention, or that I'll mention now, we do have a professional clothes closet that you can stop by and see at any given time, from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. All of the attire we have in there is free of charge, so why not take advantage of that while you're here? After you're not a student anymore, you don't have access to those items. So this is pretty much what I wanted to cover in terms of preparation for the fair. Do I have, yes?
I have a question. Do you guys do LinkedIn shoots for headshots for LinkedIn?
Love the questions, man. You guys feed me. With LinkedIn, we actually just started, I believe in fall semester, might have been our first semester, but we actually do appointments for LinkedIn headshots. We'll also be taking LinkedIn headshots at the Career Expo and any of the other fairs as well. So feel free to schedule that appointment if you like, or as you're at the fair, stopping by the booth to go ahead and get your photo taken.
So when we, let's say, walk in or making a schedule to get our resume worked on, what are a couple things that you kind of want from us in advance to kind of help the process go a little bit more smoothly? Like, let's say if we don't have anything or we don't know what to put down, like what would be a better tool to help you help us?
See, that's what nobody else does this, so I'm glad that you even asked that question. Like, nobody else ever asked that question. You had the people who come in, like, I have nothing, help me out, and you had the people who come in with a look. So it's a perfect question. My biggest suggestion would be, we actually have some resources online that you can take a look at prior to you coming. So if you've never done one, if you want to kind of get a better understanding of how yours measures up, you can take a look at some of our samples on our Career Center webpage. But my suggestion would be definitely to come in with something so we have something to work with, and therefore we can go from there and giving you tidbits. And sometimes the resume appointments aren't always, a one-time thing. Sometimes it's first coming in, having that reviewed, us giving you feedback and critiques, and then you coming back to visit us again for those final edits. But if you go here to Career Counseling Services and Resume and Letter Writing, what you will find down here are different sample resumes. So we can go here. Oh. Yeah, you can print it, do whatever you want, but see a different, examples of such.
How about my education?
Any other questions? Alright. Dr. Sweet, how am I doing on time?
You got like 13 minutes.
Oh, 13? Okay. So, yes.
Let's say if a student comes with a resume that does have experience, you guys kind of help filter out like all the other stuff that isn't relevant?
Absolutely. So that's something as well. And what we ask as you come to the appointment, is what type of opportunities are you applying to? So what would be perfect in the case is if you know of a particular opportunity you're ready to or you're looking to apply to, bring in that job description. And then us both being able to take a look at it and say, okay, these are some of the qualifications they're looking for, these are some of the tasks, and then taking a look at your experience and seeing how you describe such. A lot of the times, kind of to my man's question over here, a lot of it is being able to describe different experiences and showcase how those skills transfer to that role. It may not be the same exact thing, but in some components, in almost every experience, there are transferable skills that you can take to another employer. So, another good question, yes.
So let's say we have two people, both very awesome cover letters. How can I set mine apart from someone else? Do I look at the job description and say use words they're using, or how would I go about making mine better than that person, even though they might be on the same level?
So the best advice I could give you in terms of, and it can go either way, because the beauty is an item holder of cover letters and resumes as well. So it really depends on who's looking at it. But I would say people love stories. So if you're able to tell a story in that cover letter of why you're so excited to work for that particular company, why you have such an interest in this industry, that's something that can help set yourself apart. And not to say the other person won't, but you have your own unique story that's different from theirs.
Thank you.
Good question.
Is it recommended to have a cover letter? Because I don't know, I've never written a cover letter, so.
Hurt. You see this right here in front of you? Boom. You got a guide right here. And then you have an example of such here. So this can be extremely helpful if you've never drafted one before. But the cover letter, so to be honest, as I mentioned, the beauty is in our beholder. Some companies require a cover letter, so in that case, definitely send one. In other instances, I've heard employers say firsthand, some of them don't read them, they just look at the resume. However, if you don't feel your resume tells a story, I would definitely suggest creating one. But keep in mind that in terms of cover letters, there's not a one-size-fits-all. Cover letter is tailored specifically to a particular company and role. So it's one of the most, if you're creating one, it's one of the most time-consuming parts of the job application.
What do you think about the two different formats? So cover letter is either the paragraph format or it's the bullet format where it's first paragraph, second paragraph, bullet, 3 bullet points and then close.
I like the paragraph format personally, but that's just personal preference. Because in terms of bullet points, I'd rather see your bullet points, because think about it like this, or how I see it, is the cover letter is either an extension of the resume itself, or it's you being able to tell things that aren't on the resume. So in that case, if you're utilizing bullet points, I would hope those bullet points are things that you're able to describe within your resume itself. Because the cover letter is more like intangibles for the most part, and then the resume is more like, okay, what did you do? What skills did you perform? Yes.
So I applied for a job, and it didn't have the hiring manager's name on it, and we were supposed to write a cover letter. So I know you're supposed to put the name on the cover letter, but if you don't know the name, like what would you put?
It would suffice with to whom it may concern.
Okay.
Just to like answer your question, a lot of times if you just look up the company on LinkedIn, you just put the head of like their talent acquisition or whoever, and you just put their name. Like it could be wrong, but
Yeah.
you put in the effort to like figure out who it was.
Yeah.
That showcases that. Yeah, so that would suffice as
Yeah,
well.
cause I looked it up, like I Googled like what to do, and then they said put to whom it may concern, but then they said that looks bad, or just like doesn't seem professional, so I was
So in that case, you can definitely go with that alternative as well. Just find that HR manager or the closest thing to that position and put them on that. And at least it's somebody from the company.
You could just write dear hiring manager. Just leave it like that.
And all companies have different titles for those positions too. So
You know, hope they don't get upset.
do I have any other questions? Let me ask you all this. Do I have any questions for for sake of time, do I have any questions regarding interview? Everybody in here has,
I think I asked this last spring. Where is the place located to get clothes? Like
it's in the career center.
Career
So
center?
if you come to the career center, if you just let us know that you're there to see the professional clothes closet, we'll be able to take you right back there. It's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can stop by, and someone will escort you back to the closet.
I've got a question. For the LinkedIn headshots, so can we also get to use some of the clothes that you guys have as well for the headshots?
Oh, we keep those clothes. You know what I'm saying? It's free. Take advantage of it. Keep those.
I talked that out.
No, it doesn't come with any conditions or stipulations. It's yours. Guys. Also kind of to that point too, so, to make sure you all are aware, did anyone in here attend I'll go to that too, a few things, but did anyone in here, attend a JCPenney suit-up event? Okay, did you guys find the event helpful when you attended?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Alright, so, come one, come all, come again, we have this on March 22nd.
Are these suits, they're to rent or they're like, you give them out for free?
The ones in the clothes closet you can keep,
Okay.
these, you buy,
Okay.
you know.
I'm not again.
Yeah, no, good question though.
Oh, for the food giveaway part, go there early to the strategies.
I'm glad you told me, I didn't have to do it. Yes.
Yeah, it's like kind of similar to JCPenney. I mean, it's not as classy, but like you go to a thrift store and then get the suit, like, cause a lot of times they have suits or like professional clothing that's too big. And you just get it tailored and it costs like $15. Like I did that with my first professional job. Like I got a Brooks Brothers suit like for $10. Got it tailored.
Especially in Boca. Boca's got some
Yeah.
nice stores.
Absolutely, you guys are right on it. I've done that before too. It's not a lot of steel.
Free suits now.
Alright, so this event will be Sunday, March 22nd from 6 to 10. If you happen to need transportation to the event, we are providing that from the university. You just have to go to Handshake under events and register for the event, and it'll ask you if you need transportation. So provide a bus to and from the event if you happen to need that. Feel free to bring your family with you as well. All you have to do is sign in the Handshake. We'll give you your voucher and you'll be able to go into the store. Alright. Mention the Career Expo, free professional clothes closet. That way you know I'm telling the truth, it's free. Alright. So, a tool I wanted to talk about is Interview Stream. So, has anyone in here done a virtual interview before? A few people, how did it go? Was it weird? It's horrible.
It's very weird.
I enjoyed it.
I
You
spoke
enjoyed
to
it?
no one.
Yeah, I spoke to nobody.
I spoke to the screen.
Pre-recorded
That's about
questions.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
just-
like,
just
but
like
it's kind of like good, cause I didn't have to use their portal, I could film it on my computer and then upload it. So like, cause I felt weird, I felt like they could still see all the videos I messed up on, you know, I'm sure they couldn't, but like, it made me feel better about like, yeah.
They gave me like a minute, and I was like, I ain't got that.
You say I'm sorry, you don't mean just like like an interview online with an employer, right?
I was saying it could be with the pre-recorded questions, or it could be, you know, you have somebody on the other end.
Oh, yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. kind of all the same thing. I mean, it's weirder when you're by yourself, pre-recorded questions. But Interview Stream is a virtual interview prep tool that we have that you all can utilize free of charge, once again. It utilizes everything that you utilize your credentials for, MyFAU, Canvas, the whole nine, Handshake as well. So you can go on here at fau.interviewstream, and so you can actually select pre-recorded questions revolving around whatever industry you may be interested in. You can go over general questions, and so it allows you to pretty much prepare for those type of interviews. And we at the Career Center via appointment can provide you feedback based on the answers that you give for these questions. So wanted to make sure you're aware of that.
Do you guys do major specific questions?
Yes, we do. I know we do for some of them. I'm not going to tell you until. I'm not sure if we have them for all, but if we don't and you would like some developed, reach out to me via email and I can make sure you go ahead and put them in.
Cause it'd be cool to like technical questions regarding like coding or like.
You may have to look, there may be a section for you to look under engineering or something of that nature, or computer science, and you may be able to find those types. But if you can't, let me know and I'll make sure you get some more. Cool. Anyone else? Yes.
What if you're looking for work outside the state?
Handshake is a perfect tool, my friend.
No, I know that, but I mean, when it comes to interviewing, or if I went to the Career Expo and I said I have aspirations to move out of the state, what typically happens with the companies? Is that a bad thing to say? Or?
So as you look at the companies on Handshake, you may see they have different offices. So one of your questions could be, are there opportunities ever to relocate to other states or to other cities? That may be an option, or that may be something that you definitely kind of go over with the company. But Handshake, you can look everywhere. LinkedIn, you can look everywhere. But as you're looking at those companies, see if they have other offices where you can work as well.
So I'm asking your opinion because I went to the Career Center and like I was having trouble. I was still confused, like destroying, because I'm trying to get a job far, like in Texas, and I was asking her questions, and she was like, "Well, first you need to get like a fake number, and then use an fake address." And I was like, "Yo, is this like dishonest? Like, that sounds pretty dishonest. Like, I just tell them I'm from Florida and that I want to relocate, like instead of getting a fake number and like a fake address."
You can have a cover letter and include in there that you're looking to relocate. I can't say exactly where, but I know I've seen on resumes people like include in there somewhere looking to relocate. I wouldn't say, I've heard that before though, create a fake address. You don't gotta do all that, be honest. That's kind of your integrity there.
Yeah, I was really confused. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Or you can always put, if you want, and leave it at that, because even for the resume, you don't always have to put your exact address. You could put the city, state, and zip in which you wish to reside. And then, if you're going in an interview, I currently live in Florida, I'm looking to relocate to this specific area. Is relocation something that is a part of this?
Maybe she told me to do that because like one day read the algorithm, it might just throw my resume right out.
That's possible, but that's why I say the city, state, and zip would suffice for that as well.
Because they want to provide relocation assistance.
Yeah.
You have a question?
No, I was just kind of like going off of what he said, but you covered.
All right. And then I just wanted to show you all these real quick. So a few opportunities I found online that hopefully are definitely related to your major. Intern in technology at Office Depot is posted on Handshake. Information technology summer internship at Royal Caribbean. And then Publix has a huge summer internship program where they're looking for a variety of makeup. So if anyone would like this list, I can definitely send it to you. Just to let either myself know via email or Dr. Sweet, and we'll be sure to get that to you. You taking a picture, my man?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Do I have anybody here searching for jobs? So here's some job opportunities you may want to take a further look at.
What about looking for careers outside of the major that you're in? Let's say I'm an MIS major and I want to do a job in investment banking. What would be some tips for that?
So it would really revolve around your search. And so even at the Expo, we'll have people who are dealing with finance, different companies. So you'll be able to kind of filter through that and find some of those companies. But a lot of it is just the keywords. And so as you look at different positions, you notice things, such as the requirements and what they're looking for. So you may notice in certain positions, they're looking for somebody possibly with a multitude of different backgrounds, where it's not confined to you have to have a finance background, maybe something in, data analytics or something of that nature where you've kind of been exposed to some of those things. So don't let it limit you. Just continue to look, and then just depending upon the qualifications, you can see if that's something that you can apply to. All right. Anyone else? All right.
Give Byron a nice one. Thank you. If you want to go either to the
person,
yeah, if you, whatever's the best for the picture.
Okay.
Is that good for you, or if you want to go to your? Did you close your slides already? That way you have the two things. So thanks everybody so much for coming. Oh, that's good. So thanks everybody so much for coming. Hopefully you enjoyed it, right? Pretty good. You know, and Byron always brings new things every time. So even though I've seen this, I don't even want to know how many times we've seen this, right? There's always something new that he does. So, and it's great too, if you can connect with some of your fellow MIS students to go to the career fair together, because it feels a little bit intimidating if you've never went before. So I know there'll probably be a good group of everybody from MISA that's going to be going. So try to coordinate at least with the officers or other people, so that way you can get connected. If you didn't get a chance to sign in when you leave, just make sure you sign on the laptop. That way I can send the list to Byron, and he can brag about how many people come to his sessions, to his Career Center folk. And then the two other announcements before we take the picture. I mentioned it before, for those of you who came late, we have on the 22nd of this month is going to be our MISA barbecue. So if you can jot it down in your calendar, it's on a Saturday. We're going to send some information hopefully out next week, because it just got approved this week. So that's like a really fun one to kind of get, you know, to meet some of your other MIS students and other people that are involved in MISA. And then the following Friday, which is the 28th, we do our MISA company tour, and this semester we have it at SBA Communications. So it's only for premium members. So if you're a premium member, you're all good. We're going to send out some RSVPs. If you're not a premium member, right, you only got a couple weeks to sign up to be a premium member to go. But it's going to be a great opportunity. SBA is a huge company. It's right here in Boca, right next to the Costco on Congress. Really nice headquarters, so it should be a pretty good session. So without further ado, can we get a good? I think we got. There's little amount of us that we could all go up in the front of this one. So if we can come to the front, we'll take a nice group